evening, everyone. How to handle them. So one is how we can render different component and different containers. So two techniques we learned about conditional rendering. Yesterday, one design we created. Okay, so this example we designed, and in this example, conditionally we are rendering two details. So one on sign in, if user enters some data and sign in, then it will have sign out. And when I sign out, then it will have the option of sign in. This I showed you how to render depending on the situation. So what is the first technique in conditional rendering? One technique is render a new component according to state and situation. That is one thing. Second, render a block inside component. So according to the situation, we can render a specific block inside the component. So these two topics we learned in conditional render. Few more concepts are there, we will see. Another technique is a component can return completely different content. A component can return completely different content. For that, we need to understand another concept. There we can implement conditional rendering. What is that concept is? So today we are going to learn another topic, that is controlled components. Controlled components. Conditional rendering is used in these controlled components also. So in React, we have to learn about controlled components. All these days, we discussed about component, generally what component contains a design, styles, and logic. We learned how to create one component and how to use the components across various locations. Now, what is controlled component and what is its purpose? It is a controlled component is nothing but we can have a component which can be customized according to requirement. For example, we designed a Netflix screen. You tried? In the beginning, we discussed a Netflix screen. There we created Netflix header. We created Netflix register. And I showed you that Netflix register can be reused anytime in different location. But every time it is same. Every time it looks the same. But I don't want like that. I want it to change according to situation. In real time project development, we need several components in several locations, but not in the same way. Some changes we want. For example, you learned Bootstrap. If you learned Bootstrap, here I will show you. This is the official website of Bootstrap. In this Bootstrap website, let's go to examples, documents. Here you can see Bootstrap people also have components. You can see they have components. There is a components category. Bootstrap provides components. If you learn Bootstrap already, you know them. Accordion, alerts, breadcrumbs. These are all Bootstrap components. And observe, we have a component called carousel. Carousel is a component, and you can see they give a carousel component. And this carousel component is used to display changing images, banners, advertisements, text. Observe carefully. They will give you a component like this. Now, will you use this component exactly like this? Will you use the component exactly like this? Not necessary. We can change now. What you can change? We can change images. We can change these controls. If we want, we can design without controls. Do you know if we want, we can add indicators. Indicators means here you can see down like this. That means this is a component which can be controlled according to our requirement. So this is a controlled component. Carousel is a controlled component. Now tell me what is a controlled component? Controlled component means it provides you design, styles, and functionality which you can customize according to your requirement and use. Will you use in the same way everywhere? No, we can change. So components are two types, uncontrolled and controlled. Uncontrolled components are nothing but They are always using similar type of presentation, same presentation every time. But controlled component means they are controlled by the data coming from the parent. In a parent component, you are going to use that component. And while using the component, parent will send some data. According to the data, that component can change. That means if a component's presentation, component's logic and functionality is changed by the data passed from the parent, then these type of components are called as what? Control. Almost you see in Bootstrap, all these components are controlled components. They are controlled components. Now we will see how to design them, how to create a component which can be controlled by the parent, which can change according to the state and situation. Let's see how to do that. So what is a controlled component? That is the first point you need to understand. So component, component, component comprises of presentation, styles, and logic. If any component, presentation, style, and logic can be controlled, can be changed by the data passed from parent component, then it is known as controlled component. If any component, presentation, style, and logic can be changed by the data passed from parent, then it is called controlled component. So how we control the component, presentation, style, and logic can be controlled by using, it can be controlled by using properties. By using properties, we call props. They are controlled by using properties. So component, presentation, styles, and logic can be controlled by using properties. So its concept is very simple actually. It's how we design controlled components. For example, let's say we are having a HTML page. Just I'm having some script. So we have for I less than 10 or 5, I plus plus, and document right, it is printing the value of 5. I return a statement. I will copy in a function called print numbers. Now it is going to print this. Now I will call print numbers. Then what it will do? It is going to print how many numbers? 5. I will call again print numbers. Again, it will print 5. Now, how you will design a function so that it can change the functionality? One time I want 5, another time another one, I want 20, I want 100, I want to change. Then you generally pass here parameters now. So what is the purpose of parameter? The purpose of parameter in a function is to modify the function. If anyone asks what is the purpose of parameter, you will not say that to pass values. That's like school answer. You see W3 schools, huh? That is only for schools, not for developers. And your answer should not be a school level answer. That means why we use parameters to pass value. That's not satisfying. Parameters are used to modify the function. The purpose of a parameter is to modify the function. So technically, what the parameter can do to change the functionality. Now, our components also functions now. Then how the functions can change the functionality? The functions can change the functionality by using what? Parameters. And these parameters are considered as properties. They are considered as properties. For example, you want a button, but in different places, I want button in different ways. Button should have a different color, different size, different width, different functionality. Do you have a special button for close? Do you have a special button for open? No, button is same. It is used for different functionality now. That means the component is same, but we use for different situation. How we can change by using what? Properties. So how we can design a controlled component? Actually, how we create controlled component? Controlled component is a function with props, properties, props as parameters. controlled component is a function with props as parameters. So syntactically, we have function, components, and props. And what is the props data type? What is the props data type? A component can have multiple properties. It can have ID, name, class. It can have width, height. It can have BG color. Am I right? So props is object type with the key value collection. Props is object type with key value collection. So it is object type with key and value collection. So that means generally how we use the properties, it is an object type means it will return some markup and it will have props. Just roughly I will give, it will have props dot key. Roughly I'm giving, we will see a complete example. The props inside the function are object type. So object usually have a key. And these keys are dynamic names. Keys are dynamic references. You can define any name. They are dynamic references. You can define any name, but have to access only by specified name. But can access only by specified name. So keys are dynamic references and you can put any name for the key, but you have to use according to your reference names. Which name you given, the same name you have to use to access. Okay, let's see how to create one controlled component. In interviews, this question can be asked in another way also. In many interviews, one question is asked regularly for React people is not only React, Angular, React for these people. The question is same because they are all component based. They ask question like how to transport data from parent to child. That means from parent component, how you can transport data to the child component. And that is possible by using what? Props. By using properties, you can transport data from parent to child, which you will see now. Let's see how to create a controlled component. For example, we are designing some component here. Suppose in this example, observe, we have a nav bar. I want like this one nav bar in different places. But in every location, nav bar is not same. Its logo may be changing. Its name may be changing. The menu items will be changing, but some are fixed. Usually template means what? They will provide a predefined design. It's not necessary to change everything. We will change few and we will leave some of them as they are. Am I right? So we need to design one component. That component should have a design. Some are fixed, some will be changing. Let's see how to do that. So what we will do is we want one nav bar. So let's go to our SRC folder. And in SRC folder, we will add a new folder called controlled components. Make sure that controlled components, all are inside SRC only. It's mandatory that they must be in SRC folder. Here, I'm adding one component. I will add a new file. Generally, components are JSX files. So I will use navbar.what.jsx. Okay, let's create a navbar. But this navbar must be able to change. So then export function navbar, and it will have props. And remember, props is a formal parameter name. You can give any name, but it refers to props. You already saw event arguments E. E is just a reference name. You give A, B, C, X, Y, Z, anything is okay, right? We give E just because to understand that it is event. That means E is not a keyword. It is just a formal name. It refers to event. That's the reason we have a habit of giving E. So props is a just formal name. You can give any name, but it refers to properties. That's the reason we have a habit of defining props. Okay. Now we will return here in nav. In this nav, I will add here as class deflex. justify content between, align items center, some padding is to border, border is to some border secondary. Like this, we are adding. Okay, this is the navbar in this. Now we want one division and hair span. Here the logo will come, but logo is not sure which one they want. They can have different logos. You can put an image or you can put one icon, right? So here, what we will put is, here we are going to put dynamically, we are expecting props.logo. So logo is your own name. You can give any name. Why I given props.logo? Because we said that props is object type. Object type means it will have a key value. Na? Keys are invoked by using dot. What is dot operator? In any computer programming language, dot is member invoking operator. Member invoking operator. In any computer programming language, dot is a member invoking operator. It is used to invoke the members of that particular object. So it is invoking a property called logo, which is your own name. Okay. After that, we will put another span. This span will have props dot brand. Brand is nothing but company name. What is the company name? We want the brand. And this brand must have font weight bold. I will just put a little bit bold. Okay. Some, that's fine. And this is one span. Some, okay, next div. In the second division, I want menu items. Home, about, contact, menu items. But according to his website, he will decide what menu he wants. That means every website will not have same menu. Na? They can have different menu items. So now in the second place, I want menu items, but I don't know what items he will give. But whatever items he give, I want them here. Then what we will do is, we will put here a simple binding expression. This time I'm expecting props dot, I will give menu items. I'm expecting menu items. And very important, these menu items, I'm expecting like an array, because multiple na. Then if I'm expecting this as an array, how to read array? We have to use a map. Read every item. And for every item, we will create a span. And you know that every span needs a key and every span needs a value. Here value is item. And temporarily for this span, I will put a class mx is 3, some gap will come. You can make it like a link. Later we will learn navigations and all. Just as of now, I'm creating span. Okay, this is fine. Next, another division. This division contains a span, class bi, some heart, and another span, class bi, and bi, some person, and another span. So we will have some class and class name and some bi, suppose some option, or you will keep a button or something. Huh? Suppose I will say cart, something like this I give it. Your wish, you can change anything you want. You can put anything, but I just want a fixed one like this. I just want a fixed one like this, the corner. Now, remember, in this navbar, what are changing? Logo is changing, brand name is changing, and menu items are changing. Rest is same, na? Right? So now let's see here. I'll just use mx is 3 or 4. So instead of this cart, I will give like gift, something like this. Okay, gift box is there, fine. Now I want to use this navbar. I want to use the navbar in some component. Let's create a component. And I will create here as home demo. Okay, I will put home demo dot JSX. I'm creating export function home demo. And in this component, so in this component, we will use here a main. It will start with home demo. Fine. And in this home demo component, here I want to use, I want to use the navbar here. It's empty now. I want to use navbar. So just you have to import the navbar. Import what we have to import, navbar. Navbar from which location? Control components. We will import and we will just use the navbar here. Now it will show error. Why? Because it is expecting some values. We need to pass those values. What are those values? This navbar is expecting, first it is expecting a property called logo na, right? What is the logo? BI Amazon. I want that logo. That means I'm using the logo BI Amazon. And actually this is kept inside a span. That means this need to show you how to correctly display. Now this Amazon logo Here we are displaying directly here. We can't directly display logo here. We have to attach this to a class name. Na? So here we have a class name. Class name will directly come from, what is it? Props dot what? Logo. That is directly coming from there. Okay. Next, let's go to the home. It is expecting another property. What is it? Brand. I'm giving as Amazon. After that, it is expecting what? Menu items. Menu items is an array. Na? If you already created one array, use it. Or directly we will put one array here. So in the array, we will have home. So we will have like shop. So we will have pages. So we have offers. So we will have some contact, something like this. That's it. And you see your navbar is ready there. We have the navbar ready. One icon is missing. This icon is gift. BI gift icon is there. Some gift is there. And I will just give some more here, border one and padding for some gap. And it will be like this. That means we designed a customized navbar. And remember, you can use different places, different content. For example, I'm going here. Let's go to the home. I want another navbar. Then just I will put another navbar. Am I right? In this, I will put logo. Logo, I'm giving some BI, some Facebook, something logo. And I will put a brand as some fashion. Right? And we will put menu items. Menu items is an array. It is an array. So we will have like, suppose some fashion store. And we will have electronics. So we have footwear, something like this. We have offers, some option we have defined. And you can see there is another navbar with different content. Am I right? That means here a navbar is designed. Just roughly, I will use some my is to, some gap will come. That means we designed a navbar and this navbar is not fixed. It will change according to the requirement. So this is controlled component. Which one is controlled component? Home or navbar? Navbar. What is home? Home is an uncontrolled component. That means it is not controlled by any data coming from any parent. Who is controlled? Navbar. So this is a controlled component. This is just only one point. There are so many things I will show you. That means it is a controlled component. We can control. Not only this, lot of things we can control. Style, appearance, effects, everything. We can control everything. So many things we can control. That depends on requirement. For example, color also I want to control. For the navbar, I want to control the color. Then see what I will do. I will use here. This is a class na. Yeah, I will put this in a binding expression. I will put in a binding expression. I put the class names in a backtick. We will put the class names in a backtick. The class names I'm keeping in a backtick. That is a string. Okay. Now what we will do is here we will put a simple binding expression of JavaScript. And here we will put what? Props. Props.theme. I will use props theme. That means wherever they use the navbar, you see now, I am not applying any theme. For first navbar, I will apply a theme. You see there is a theme and theme I'm applying BG primary and text white. And you can see that it will be different. That means I can apply a theme for that particular navbar. For another navbar, I'm applying a theme and the theme is BG suppose success and text light. And you can see it will show that. That means we can use the same navbar in different situations. Now, very important is we can change complete orientation also. For example, if anybody asked like in my website, I want navbar vertical. That means not horizontal. I will not keep at the top. I will keep at the left. The same thing. I want left side vertically aligned. How you can change the orientation of this navbar? How we can change the orientation of the navbar? Currently, we are using display flex, but the complete layout and placement of content should change. Layout and placement of content should change according to the requirement. I will show you how we can do that, right? For example, this is one point. First, basic everyone understood. That means how you can design a component which can change according to your requirement. How data is passed from the parent to chain. That is done by using what? Props, by using properties. Now see here, if I want to change the orientation of this navbar, I want to change the complete orientation. See, this navbar is flexible now. And actually flex direction default will be what? Default flex direction. That means it will be flex what? Row. Default flex direction is row. Even you don't give by default, it is row. Flex direction is row. I must be able to change. That means see what we will do now. I will write a simple logic here. I will cut this return. I will remove the return. And here I will write a condition. If props dot orientation, understand? If props dot orientation is equal to, if the orientation is horizontal, am I right? If orientation is horizontal, then what it should return? If orientation is horizontal, then it should return this one. Am I right? This, it should return this. If the orientation is vertical, not horizontal, that means else what it should return? It should return a different layout now. This time I will make display as what? Flex, but flex direction is what? Column. Flex direction is column. Then you have to do a lot of changes. If flex direction is column, then usually where you will put here, one below another only, they will come. There is no problem in that. So what we will do, this justify content between is okay. Align item center, padding, I will not give much padding. Padding 2 is fine. Border, everything is fine. But what it should have extra is, it should have a style and width as some 250 pixel. That means less width. Because it needs to be vertical now. So we don't want lengthy. Then we will put the width as 250 pixel. Okay, this is if it is not horizontal. If it is not horizontal, then it will display like this. And similarly, others also we have to change. But I am not changing them. We can change the alignments later. In example, this is enough. Now let's go to the home and see the first nav bar. It shows like this. Why? Because we haven't given orientation as horizontal. By default, it will take vertical now. So then what we have to do is, first one, what we need to do. So here we will keep height also. Right. First nav bar will have a property called what? Orientation. Orientation is equal to horizontal. Then the first nav bar will be horizontal. Understood? Second nav bar, orientation. Orientation will be what? Vertical. If it is vertical orientation, then I will keep its height also a little bit. We will keep height as suppose 400 pixel. That means its height will be 400 pixel like this. Suppose 200 pixel is width, 400 pixel. Now other alignments we have to change. What other alignments we have to change? All these spans should display one below another now. So they have to use not MX, they have to use MY, vertical now. As another one, we have to use D block. Why D block? Because they must be one below another, not one beside another. Am I right? That means they will come one below another. We can add more effects. We can add more effects, more functionality we can define. For example, MY is 4. And every span, for example, better we will give an appearance like what? Button. BTN is the button class. That's fine. And W100 is the width. Then it will display like this. And BTN light is the class. Then all the buttons will be like this now. Understood? Design alignments, everything your wish according to your requirement. Now just change the orientation of this. It will change now. You see now? Let's go to the second one. Instead of vertical, keep the orientation as what? Horizontal. Horizontal is the orientation. Automatically its appearance is different. Alignment is changed, appearance is changed. I changed the orientation as what? Vertical. Then automatically it will change to this one. That means we can design a component in such a way that it can change completely. You are watching on mobile, it will look for mobile. It will fit for mobile. You are watching on widescreen, it will fit for widescreen. We can add media queries also. You learn now? In CSS, you learn media queries. We can add media queries according to the situation and we can implement. Now, this is also conditional rendering. Now, here where you saw the conditional rendering, here where you saw rendering, you saw that nav bar is rendering different content according to the condition. If it is horizontal, horizontal layout. If it is vertical, vertical layout. That is also conditional rendering. In conditional rendering, you can render a different component according to situation. You can render a different block according to situation. You can render same component with different layout according to situation. Different layout, different functionality it can have according to the situation. This is another concept of conditional rendering. Here you have seen two things, conditional render as well as controlled component. But this is just only a simple one. In real time, we have to create more complex controlled components. I will show how we can create more complex controlled components. First, we will make a note about this point actually. So a controlled component can change. A controlled component can change and conditionally render different layouts. A controlled component can change and conditionally render different layouts. Syntax will be this one. Function, component, props. If props dot key is equal to value, then it will return some A. Otherwise, it will return B. So we can make it return different. You can use a switch case, you can use an if, you can use multi-level if statements, choices, anything you can do. If there are many conditions, then what we do? If there are many conditions, then we can use a switch case. Can switch use a return statement? Can switch use a return statement? Usually switch will jump using break. Na? Can we use return? Very complicated question. Huh? You can use return because break or return, anything can be used as jump statement. What is difference? Break will terminate the block, but still the compiler is on. But return will terminate the compiler, terminate the compilation process. Once you use the return, there is the code that is written after return statement is not reachable to compiler. Na? So you can use return also for break, jump statement. Huh? You can do that. So this is one example. I will give you one small example here. In this example, we added in SRC controlled components. In controlled components, I am adding a navbar.js. This is example for navbar. And another one in SRC components, I have a home demo.js. I'm adding home demo. Here we are just displaying those navbars. Huh? We are creating and displaying those navbars. This is two examples. The controlled component is navbar, and we are using that component inside our home. Okay, let's create another complex one. For example, see the website. I show you one website. For example, website Telerik. Telerik is a website. What is the specialty of this website is, means who are these people is? These are the people who sell components. These people sell. You may be thinking like selling components means already they have designed some components, you can use them. And you buy from them. Component means we can design, right? But you see, these are the customers of Telerik. Those are the customers of Telerik. You may not know about Telerik. Telerik don't care about you, whether you know them or not. Why? Because NASA is using Telerik. Microsoft is using Telerik. Telerik don't care who are you, right? So you don't know, you say that I don't know Telerik, that's your problem, right? So NASA, Microsoft, IBM are the customers of Telerik, right? They are the customers of Telerik. Now you have a doubt like why Microsoft is customer. Software, they are building software, they have their own operating systems, but they don't want their developers in certain area to waste time in designing everything. They want their developers to save time by adapting some components which are already designed, right? So Microsoft, generally, if you are working on Microsoft technologies like .NET and all, in majority of company requirements, they ask, we need people with Telerik knowledge because Microsoft products use a lot of Telerik controls. Java, .NET, PHP related, so many controls they will provide. They will provide some components. For example, I will show you. Let's go to demos. In the demos, you see you have jQuery, Angular, React, .NET, and JSP, PHP. So many will be there here. Now, important is I will select some React demos. When I select React demos, you can see they have given here components and see charts, grids, forms, ready-made components are there. Ready-made components are there, but it is a paid service. So it's not free. For example, I will select a grid. You see, it will show a grid like this. This is a grid. You see, it is displaying a grid like this. And observe carefully, this grid is showing some employee details. Am I right? Not only that, this grid is having options like filtering, sorting, searching. If I ask my developer to design one data grid, which can display products, employees data, and it should able to filter, sort, search, it will take a lot of time. Am I right? That means to design this functionality for this, it will take time. Then what we will ask our developers in companies, we say that we have third parties, already we purchased them, you just use them. Because in real-time projects, we will not allow our developers to waste time. We want them to save time and design fast. So in real world development, you are not allowed to waste time in designing everything. You are given with some ready-made components. What you have to do, just use them, modify according to your requirements. Now imagine how to design one table that can change according to data. For example, if I have to design a table in that 5 rows, 6 columns will be there, then it is fixed. But I don't know, according to data, the table will be changing. In one data, they have 6 columns, in another 10 columns, in another 5 rows, in another 20 rows. Am I right? How you will design any table in such a way that it can change according to the data? That is very tough job. It's not easy. And when you go to interviews, you are given with these type of tasks. In real world projects, you are not asked to design, but in interviews, you are asked to design, because in interview, they want to test your logical skills. Then they will say that design it and show me, design a grid and show me. So you need to able to design one grid in such a way that it should able to change according to data. How it is possible? Let's see. One simple example, we will see how to create a table where we are not sure about rows and columns. We need to design one table, but we don't know what rows and columns it will have, because according to data, it should change now, right? Let's see how it is possible, how we can design such component. Let's see one example. So I will go to the design. I will remove these navbars. Okay. And let's go to our controlled components. And in the controlled components, I'm adding a data grid dot JSX. Okay. I will write a simple controlled component export function. And what is it? Data grid. Now it is a controlled component. So what it is expecting? Props. Now what it has to return? It should return a table now. So I will put some classes for table, like table and table over. That's fine. Now important, table will have a caption. And this caption I will put as caption top. Now this caption contains information about what is this table about. Is it about products or employees or students? What is it about? Table have a caption, and caption is dynamically coming. So we will use what? Props dot what? Caption. We can use that caption. Okay. Next we have a T head area. Na? In that we have a TR row. Na? In that how many headings? That how many headings? We don't know. It depends on. It depends on the data. That means they will pass a JSON object. Usually data come from API. That means it will come in a JSON format. We need to identify the data. So for example, see here, rough point I will show you here. See, for example, suppose our data is like this. Array of objects, we have ID and we have a name. Okay. Now we have this, like this, you will have data. Now what we need to do is, we need to read all the keys now. We have to read all the keys, and these keys must be generated as headers. That means we will get the data. We will pass this data. We need to collect only the keys from the first object. Huh? Remember, there can be several objects. We need to collect data from first object. If you can collect data from first object, then you can easily present it. Data from first object. That means here, how to collect the first object from data? Dynamically, I'm expecting, what is it? Props. Props dot what? Data. The data is an array of objects. Na? If it is an array of objects, I can use what? Map. But remember, here the point is, this array contains several objects. I want only first object. That means I can use data of 0 na, right? Now the point is how to read all the keys of this object. At 0, there is an object. Am I right? At 0, there is an object. How to read all the keys of this object? In JavaScript, how you will read all the keys from an object? You cannot use for in, for off here, because it is JSX. There is a method called object.keys. In JavaScript, you have object.keys. It will read all the keys from that object. So what we have to do here, we have to use, what is it? Object.what? Keys. Keys from which object? This is the first object. Am I right? That means what it is going to do? It is going to read every key from this first object. This data of 0 is referring to first object now. In that object, how many keys are there? Those all keys will come now. That means object.keys, and it requires a object name. Understood? Huh? Object.keys requires a object name, and object name is props.data of 0. That is the first object. So it returns an array of keys. How to read every key from the array? We have to use a map, and we need to read every key from the map. And for every key, what we have to do? For every key, what we have to do? Let me move this little bit up. Yeah. For every key, what we have to do? For every key, we need to generate a TH. Na? So we need to generate a TH. And this TH needs a key. We will put the key, and it needs a value. Value also what? Key. Understood? That means we have to read the first object from the data, and we need to read all the keys from the first object, and for every key. Now table contains heading according to the data. Understood? It contains headings according to data. First, up to this, we will try and see whether it is working fine or not. Okay. Let's access this in our home page. In the home page, I will create a constant as suppose products, and is equal to, what is it? Use state. It is an array of objects. Every product have a name, and every product have a price. Suppose I'm just using these two, name, and so name is mobile. Yeah. And we have a price. So we are having some price. Okay. two details are enough. Let's clean up this. It is disturbing. Yeah. Now we have products here. Okay. Now what we have to do here, we need to generate a grid in a data grid. We have to import data grid. Data grid is expecting two properties. What are those properties? One is caption. Caption is what? Products table. That is the caption. Another, it is expecting what? Data. Data is coming dynamically from products. Na? Am I right? And you see now there is a table generated here. A table is generated. Understood? The table is generated for the data you have defined. Only headings we created as of now. Right? For example, another one. Suppose I'm creating a constant. What is employees is equal to use state, and we have an array of employees. Suppose we have some name, last name, so some name, and we have like designation. So this is some salary. So we are having details. Some details we are defining like this and keeping. And you see now it is creating, and we need this to be designed here, right? So we create another data grid. This time data grid will have a caption as what? Employee details. Employee details, and is coming from where? Employees, and it will design a table for it. The table changes according to the designing such table is important. This is just after all heading. Now we need to generate rows also now. That means we need to create the rows and present the rows. That let's see how we can present the rows. Let's go to the grid. Now after T head, we need what? T body. In that, we need to generate a row for every item inside data. Na? How to read every item from the data? We have to use props.data. What? Map. Read every item inside the data, every item. What we have to do after that? Read every item. For every item, we need to create a row. Am I right? This row needs a key. I will just give item dot item. That is the key. Okay. Now you can see that it is having that key. Now, what should happen here is it should generate a cell. Na? So that means a row will be generated for every item. And remember, every item is an object, right? Every item is an object. Na? Every item is an object inside array. So every object have a key. Its value must be displayed here. Na? Not the keys. We will have to display the values. Then what we will do here dynamically, what is it? Object dot what? Keys. Keys which object? Item dot what? Map. Read actually it will read keys means it will read every key. We will read every key, but we will print here. We will put the key, and here we will print here item of key. Item of nothing but its value. Na? Object of key. Am I right? Object of key will return the object value, the value of that particular key. That means now the cells will be generated according to the data here. Understood? That means in the products table, we are having 2 rows. In employees table, we are having 1 row. You add more data, it will automatically update. For example, let's go to the employee details. In the employee details, I will copy this roughly. I will copy this. I will paste 2, 3, 4 employees, and you will see all the data will be there. Different names you need to define. I'm just giving that we created one in such a way that it will change according to data. And remember, this is not so easy as it looks, because it is just only we need functionality. That means these grids have a lot of functionality. Observe carefully now. Later, let's go to the data grid. In the data grid, we have this TR with TH. One TH is fixed, and there I will give as actions. And you see the actions is last column. And what I will do is in the rows, the one cell is fixed. Rest cells are auto-generated. One cell is fixed. Here we will have a danger. So BI trash. Suppose we have a button class BTN warning BI pen. So pen like this we are using. We have button class BTN primary, and BI I like this we are having. And you see now I'm using, so MX is 2. You see a record is added here. That means every table have some actions also to do now. Am I right? That means you pass the data, the structure is the same. We must be able to implement the functionalities like edit, delete, and all. I haven't created like Telerik people. Telerik people, what they have at the top, they are having a drop down. We can do. You learn Bootstrap drop downs. If you learn Bootstrap drop down, we can create such Bootstrap drop down menus and we can add that. That means design completely depends on your HTML skills. This is not React.js. This is just presentation. React.js is all about conditionally how we render the data, logic. It is presentation, your HTML skills, where row will come, where cell will come. We have to design according. So this is example of controlled component. We have seen 2. One is navbar, another one is an And in this, we can add more functionalities, how to make them work also, right? Just you, these are two enough for today. Okay. Then in tomorrow's session, we are going to learn more about these controlled components. In interviews, what questions asked about controlled components and how to work with them. Okay, tomorrow we'll see that. This example also I will post. Tomorrow we will continue. Okay, right.